All right. Welcome to DBFF Presents Soul Talk, where we have conversations with artists, creatives, and filmmakers about their upcoming projects. So, my name is Alexis Bolden. I am the marketing director for the Denton Black Film Festival, and I'm here with another DBFF alum, Verb Kulture, who's been with the festival how many years now?
I've been with the festival since the beginning, since the first year. Time time has gotten past. I don't since day one.
Yes. So you all have probably seen her, if you came to the festival or look forward to it because she does our spoken word. So, and not even spoken word, you do more than that with the festival. But I just want to start with that. So how did you get into that whole world of slam poetry, spoken word, all of that?
Well, I've been performing poetry pretty much the majority of my life, honestly. But as far as me getting into the slam and just being a part of the slam community, I did not do that until I came to Dallas when I moved to Texas. So I was at an open mic and they had a competition, and somehow I got put into that competition thinking that I was a part of the open mic. And that was my first slam. I actually won it. So I was excited about that. And there was money on the line. I was like, hey, I want somebody for doing some poetry, something I already do. So, okay, cool. I'm going to do this again. But for me, I was a little, I guess, afraid when the element of judging came into play, because when I'm writing, I'm not writing to be judged. And so then at that point, then it was a little more of that idea of what would the audience think? What are they going to think about this piece? Because I knew I had people that was judging, just random people in the audience that could either give me 10 and say it was great, or they can give me a 0 or 1 and say it was not great. And it was, work that I put my energy and my time into. So that was an interesting part of the slam world. But one thing that it did teach me is it taught me more about being unapologetic with my work. So being able to write something and get out there and perform it and not care what anybody thought about it, or not care about the score that I got for it. So in that side of it, I feel like I had some pretty good takeaways, because I was a person that I was kind of a little like Erykah Badu, like, I'm an artist and I'm sensitive, so. But it just opened up a whole new world for me as far as being judged for my work and my performance and things like that.
I'm thinking back to, I want to know, because I'm curious of like, how did you even work your way up on stage? Has you always been, that personality that you weren't afraid to get behind the mic, or was there a time that you were just writing and keeping it to yourself before you just shared with the world?
Well, honestly, for me, I have been performing since I was about 6 years old. So growing up, I was into a lot of my parents had me in ballet, jazz, tap, every style of dance. I was in theater. In school, I was in the drama club. I was in the oratory club that they had. And I was in mock trial. I was always in front of people talking or delivering speeches and dancing and just performing. I cannot honestly remember a time that in my mind I was saying, oh my goodness, I'm scared to perform.
Wow.
But I wasn't the person that would just run out on stage. Just like, I was excited. I would use the word excitement. I was really always excited about performing. And just like with many artists, I would still get the jitters and get a little nervous. But once I'm on stage, all that goes away from me. And then afterwards, I'm like, oh my God, I did, So I can honestly not remember consciously thinking I'm scared to perform. I was more so excited about it and maybe a little nervous as far as like how many people were out there when I was, when I would be performing. So that I just don't have that that memory of like, oh no, I'm scared to go out there and perform. I'm like, yeah, we're about to go out there and do this. But I'm like, oh, it's a lot of people out there. But I'll still get out there. I'm like, oh, that was exciting. So
Right.
I like to use that word excited.
Exciting. That's a good one. It makes sense knowing that this is what you're known for. Like, so for the ones that aren't familiar with who Verb Kulture is, how do you describe yourself?
I describe myself as a free spirit. I consider myself a free spirit, a vessel for getting information out. I consider myself a very active person, active in the community, active in the arts world, and active as far as trying to bring awareness to different issues, and active in bringing people together from all walks of life for a common cause. So I just consider myself just a vessel for love, peace, and joy, and just wanting to, I like to feel good, and I like for people around me to feel good, and I like being a magnet for that. And what I find is I am one of those people that can be in a room full of strangers, and people come up and sit next to me and tell me their whole life story, and I'm like, okay, just randomly. So I feel like that's a gift.
I love that. I love that you took time to answer that, because I think that speaks to a lot of people, and just a self-reflecting question, just like how do you carry yourself and show yourself in this world, and that you're a magnet to others and creatives. Like, that's really dope. And now on this whole journey, you're producing works of art and performances. How's that mind shift into creating to just producing as well?
Well, what's interesting to me is every title that I've gotten has not been from me saying, oh yeah, I'm a producer, oh yeah, I'm a musician. It's been from me doing, and people tell me like, this, that falls under that category. I'm like, well, I guess you're right. I've always considered myself a creator and a creative, and someone that just loves to take random ideas and be innovative with them, or create my own ideas and produce anything that comes to mind. I just believe that the mind is full of endless possibilities, and which are opportunities to turn into concrete things and manifest things that, like you see today, everything that we see is from the product from the mind of someone. And so when ideas come to me, I know that at that moment I become this vessel, having an opportunity to become an outlet for whatever that thought is.
So now, doing stuff like that, when you were approached about the elevator project, right? And just doing all this, how was that? How did that start? Did you start off saying, what you had to bring to the table, or, tell us more about it?
Well, actually, I was not approached for the elevator project. The elevator project is actually it's like a call to artists, and you submit your idea and your application, and from all the applications that they receive, they go through it, and they decide who has the most potential to produce what they're looking for, as far as who has experience to be able to bring this certain project to the table. And they look at all these different projects and kind of decide what fits into their programming, and also provide an opportunity for local artists to be able to present their project at the AT&T Performance Center, and they're there to kind of help you along the way with it. Okay. So this was not my first time applying for it. And what's interesting about my journey with the elevator project is that the first time I applied to be a part of one of the seasons, I was not chosen. So what I did was I went, and when they had that opportunity to find out what you could have done better or what maybe they may have been looking for. I was there and I was on the calls, and I went to the meetings and said, okay, well, what about my application to make it? Because of course, when I submitted it, I was like, I know this I'm in there. And I was not. So I did go through that process to help me along the way as far as how to make it. But what's even more interesting about my journey is that I did not know at the time that I applied for the project that they hadn't had spoken word. So now I'm up against this whole where you got music, dance, and theater, and then there's poetry, where a lot of people think like nobody's really going out to see poetry, and do people even still go see it? You're a poet? I get that a lot. So then it kind of clicked like, oh, okay, so they're probably thinking like, what kind of spoken word project, like how exciting can a spoken word project be? And I feel like with me going back and kind of modifying things, and also with me making sure I was seen on the scene.
Yeah.
So making sure that my projects were out there, and they, I'm tagging them and everything. Like, this is what I do. I've been doing this for 13 years in Dallas, and I know what I'm doing, and I have that experience. I think that kind of led me to that opportunity to be chosen for this upcoming season. So I'm really excited about it.
That was a gem right there. Somebody needs to hear that. Allow yourself to be seen. That's strategy. Is smart and intentional. So I'm glad. I'm excited for this upcoming event this month. Next week. Is it next week already?
Yeah.
Let's talk about
here.
Yeah. Rhythm and Rhapsody. Talk about it. Just tell us all about it.
Rhythm and Rhapsody. Took me a very long time to come up with that title.
It's a good one.
And I wanted the title to really kind of be an example to kind of show people what the production is about. Because within this production, you do get rhythm, you get the heartbeat, you get the just the cadence with the poetry, and you get theater, you get dance, and the Rhapsody is this epic, long drawn out poem. So the whole project is centered around spoken word, and poetry and spoken word kind of intertwined, and people being able to see the difference of poetry happening and spoken word happening, and then seeing some theater in there. And it's like, oh, this all wrapped up. But then out of nowhere comes dance, and comes the music element, and then it all coming together within this storyline. So people will not leave the show saying, oh, that was a concert, or oh, that was a slam, or oh yeah, that was a theater play. They'll leave saying that was an experience, and I just took a journey through all these different art forms, and I'm left with a message. I'm left with something to make me really think, and I'm left with feeling good and feeling hopeful. So I'm hoping that people get a little bit of all that from the actual show, and that hopefully the show in some form or fashion creates these conversations for change. And that's kind of always my focus whenever I put out any event that I do. I like to operate in purpose and on purpose.
So we actually have a clip. I think it's a dance clip. I'm gonna go ahead and pull that up. Let's check it out.
Yeah.
Nice little clip. So what were we watching? Behind the scenes, was this practice?
Yes, that was one of the rehearsals. So what you were seeing was a little bit of what you'll find in the show. And I don't want to spoil what's going to happen. What you saw is just kind of leave it all to the imagination, but you will see some of that in the show.
It was a good clip. I'm excited for it. I'm excited. I had a friend of mine reach out. She texted me to me and was like, "This is going on at the AT&T Performance Center." I was like, oh, "Is that Verb?" Like, I was so excited. I'm going to be there. I'm so excited for it.
Yeah, we're excited. This whole process has been exciting, especially seeing a work come to life off paper and just come to life. For me, this is a little bit different from when I produce all the shows I do, like the Marvin Gaye tribute or the Curtis Mayfield tribute or the Harlem Renaissance extravaganza. For me, this is different in being able to bring that theater to it and bring the spoken word element of someone else performing my work. So that is different, and seeing it come to life in that way is really beautiful.
So who are some of the faces and people that are going to be a part of the show?
Well, it's being directed by Eve Amenti. She was the director of Faye Libration, which was also part of the Elevator Project. And we have spoken word artist Terry Otis, amazing spoken word artist, has slam champion, has traveled doing poetry and spoken word, and he's also helping with it's being like a spoken word mentor for some of the actors that are performing the some of the spoken word pieces in theater that's kind of intertwined together, making sure the cadence is right and making sure that it comes off as spoken word and not just straight theater. So
awesome. That's really great. I'm also curious because you like to intertwine Black culture within, you know, your experiences, as you said. So how do you, there's so many things that's always going on. There's always an issue within our community or something that we need to touch on. How do you narrow down what gets included into the show? How do you say, like, this is something that I definitely want to touch on and share with the audience?
The way that I operate, honestly, is off spirit and what's given to me at that moment in time. And a lot of times you can be working on something and it's not coming together, and it's just something that's constantly in your face. That's like, okay, this is what I need to talk about. For me, that's the way I operate. I can actually be in the middle of working on something, and something can happen in the news, or something can happen that's heavy on my heart, that I was like, no, you know, I have to address this and I have to talk about that, which whatever it may be. In this particular instance, this show was actually inspired by Beach Street Poetry Live, which is what I do every Sunday at the Freeman in Dallas. So that show inspired this show in a way that none of the other shows that I've done have inspired me. And that's because this particular show, having this open mic element to it, we get people from all walks of life that get on stage to perform their spoken word of poetry. And it may be their own story, it may be just them talking about issues in the community, but it's such a huge variety of different topics that people are talking about, that made me say, okay, I want to narrow down some of these topics, and I want to create this project that can reach people in a way that allows them to look within, so that we can get resolution without, you know, outside of ourselves. And so that's how it, you know, pretty much came about for me, as far as narrowing down the topic for this show, because some things have changed since the beginning when we first started, I have switched some topics out. Like, oh no, we need to talk about this. Oh, this
Wow.
is going on right now. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we have all these different things that are happening. That's like, nope, we got to hit this. This is what's on my heart right now, and I need people to see that this is still happening, even though we like to sweep things under the rug.
Right. So always relevant. That's powerful.
Yes.
That's really something. So how is there something that you can, without giving away too much, but what is something that you're like really excited for, for Rhythm and Rhapsody?
I am really excited for people to be able to come out and see all these different art forms come together to tell a story. And I guess the main things, some of what I'm doing is a little bit different for Texas, because some of the music that I'm incorporating with is Midwest Chicago. So
Okay.
this is me bringing some of my home and some of my Chicago culture to Texas, and still wrapping it up because I've been here 13 years, so I got some Texas culture too. So I'm bringing it all together and presenting it through all these different art forms. So that's I'm excited about that, and I'm excited the way it's all going. And I'm telling people y'all should come out see this. It's gonna be great.
I'm glad I'm gonna get a little taste of my home, Illinois up in here. So
Yeah, you know, the house music going like what? So
so Rhythm Rhapsody is happening July 14th through the 16th.
Yes, July 14th through the 16th, and 8 o'clock each night. Get your tickets ASAP. We intend to sell out every night. Do not be one of the ones wishing they had that opportunity to come see it, because you have the opportunity now. So if you get your ticket, you come out and just, come to the experience. I don't want to just call it a show, because it is more than that. It is an absolute experience that is going to be epic.
Yes.
Come.
So excited. And then after this show, for the ones in the Dallas DFW area who are interested in spoken word, they're creatives, where can they go to network with other like minds? Where do they find other people that are doing this?
But it is honestly, the spoken word community is way larger than anybody can think. Like in the Dallas Fort Worth area, there's always something happening. What I have happening on a regular basis, we have Beach Street Poetry Live, and the Sunday following our show, which will be the 17th, we will be celebrating 6 years of doing Beach Street Poetry Live, which is an open mic segment. What I love about Beach Street is that we have a lot of people come out, and it is their first time getting on the mic. And that means that we provide an atmosphere where people are comfortable and they feel, people come out and say, I've been writing for years, but I never performed my work. But they come to Beach Street and they get up there. And it's because of the community that comes out to support this particular event that keeps people, the creators, writing, and keeps them coming out and getting on that stage. So everybody's welcome to come to Beach Street. Again, that's every Sunday, 5 to 8, Deep Elm at the Freeman Cafe. I also do something called Pop Culture in the Bishop Rush District. We do that once a month at the Wild Detectives. I do events throughout the year. I'm starting up my Words Over Wine next month back over by Chocolate Secret. So I have a lot of stuff happening. You can go to my website and see what's going on in the open mic community, but there are also a lot of other open mics that are happening. If you are creative, get on as many stages as possible, get comfortable with your work, get comfortable with the art form, and never stop. Just keep going. That's how you get better as an artist.
All right. Thank you for that, because somebody needs to hear it. I know somebody did. But all right, so this is going to be a wrap up. As we said, we're inviting you all to Rhythm and Rhapsody that's happening in Dallas at the AT&T Performance Center next week. So get your tickets. We're going to put up a slide and also go onto our social media, because we're going to put the flyer out there. You can go to verbcultureevents.com, right? Okay.
Yeah.
And to do that, follow the Denton Black Film Festival on our social media. We're on Instagram, we're on Twitter and Facebook. Go to Denton BFF, or if you're on Facebook, at Denton Black Film Festival, because we are always highlighting and showcasing, different creatives and artists. So we appreciate you all being on here. Thank you, Verb, for coming on. I know you've been busy, so I really appreciate you hopping on here.
Thank you all so much for having me, and just thank you just for the continued support from the community. I am looking forward to the Denton Black Film Festival. For those of the creatives that are looking for a spot, we do that. The Get Down and Slam is not just a slam. It is not just a competition. So you have an opportunity to come out and be a part of the open mic segment. And a lot of people from the open mic segments in previous years decided the next year, like, I'm getting in the slam this year. So it is an opportunity to come out. So I'm just excited to be a part of everything that is going on with the Denton Black Film Festival. And thank you all so much for having me. And I just hope everyone comes out next week, July 14th, 15th, and 16th at the AT&T Performance Center, Rhythm Rhapsody, happening at 8 o'clock each night. Please get your tickets. The show will sell out. Do not be left out.
That part. All right, let me put this on the screen. Appreciate you.
Appreciate you. Thank you.
All right.